it is interesting the way we get drawn to places and people according to, if we so believe, soul contracts and destiny and past lives. There's something called astrocartography, which people might know in terms of, it's like astrology, but where you will flourish and thrive according to geographical location. If this matters to people, if people would put money to that kind of thing, you know, all this stuff's available. There's lots of different systems, Vedic astrology, Western, Chinese, and lots of other things to be looking at in terms of how we connect with the planets and nature and global energies. And I don't know when I'll put this out, but it's coming through strongly in terms of, obviously, I spent most of my life working, most of my adult life working, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and allowing ourselves, you know, a small 3-4 week window, that's all we get to have as a break. I'm not really a holiday person. I always like to travel, and I would save up all year. People that have watched this before, 1, 2, 3 on the clock, is, you know, first 6 months I'd save up for the flight, I'd decide in June where I'm going, and then the next 6 months I'd save up for accommodation and various other things, because I never had a huge budget. And at that point, when I was travelling in Africa, flights to Gambia and Senegal and stuff were about 300-400 quid. So it return, some direct, and so it was quite an affordable destination. But a lot of people that I went, like, I ended up going on my own because people didn't want to come with me, whether it was because of the stereotypes of Africa or whatever, but I tended to do a lot by myself. While other people were going to their called destinations, you know, the Asia, the Thailand, the Philippines, the Malaysia, the Vietnam, wherever. And it's funny because I've channeled ninja. People might think this is funny, but I do know what my body's capable of. I've channeled ninja and some ancient beings before, in terms of when I get hype or when I get downloads, I can do the light language and things come through my physical vessel. And there have been some very powerful souls, not at the minute because I'm moving through a period of fatigue, but where I can, if someone was to view me, they would see it as martial arts. So, and I did do jiu-jitsu as a child, so that's obviously in my muscle memory, and I'm naturally quite, this isn't coming on here to be like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. It's just, we're all built differently. We've all got an affinity to various things according to our soul, our blueprint. So it's interesting that even though I connect with certain energies and beings and various things and past versions of myself, is that this lifetime I've never been called to visit China, Asia. I've never been called to certain cultures, certain places in time, not through a negative judgment, just because some of us might believe that this is our last incarnation and we go back to the stars after this one. There's a belief in the Zulu system, Zulu race that came from Sirius, and they were star people, and that's how the beginning of the nations began. And there's something deep inside of me that I've never been able to explain, that for once a year, it was about 20 years, I would come to various places on this continent and spend time just learning and observing and having fun, and a few hairy moments, but never been called to India, Asia, various places. Now, life is long, and it is what we make of it, and I'm not saying things are off the cards, but there was a reason that in this moment in time right now in the history of the world, where some of us believe this has never happened before, that I was meant to be, in my view, where it all began. I don't know why my soul's blueprint was always leading me back here. A series of very, very strangely profound moments through meditation, through vulnerability, through sharing, through holding space, through being witnessed, through cultural interactions, both harmonious and disagreeable, has led me to the point that at this moment, in a very interesting time in the world, is I'm on African soil. And if we are able, as I believe with the consciousness that's growing, if one believes in reincarnation and past lives and has a very vivid dreamscape, and it's not just saying about a vivid imagination, no, we have an emotional, like a deep embodiment of some of our missions in past lives, is and some of us have died in horrific ways, and various things I've mentioned in the past is I know that I've died in battle, and I had a physical part of my body that would ache and pain until I, for some reason, resolved that in my head and remembered this battle scene and felt this spear thing, whatever, go into my back somewhere and fall off a horse, or it was, anyway, no one needs to know details. But if these memories resurface slowly, because it can be quite overwhelming if we're not aware that we're going through a Kundalini awakening or some form of consciousness expansion, I mean, I'd advise writing things. Also, sometimes things are not good to be written down because you never know what hands they get into, which I've learned from the past. But it's quite a beautiful exploration to look into our past lives, to see the sum of everything right here, right now. 7:17 just passed on the clock. It's at the moment there's a lot of activations. People are acting as mirrors and triggers and activators and catalysts for others around us, because we're all on our own level of ascension. I say we all, I can hope for the people, but not everybody will ascend. Some people will descend because they won't be able to look after their mental health at the minute, and I send love and prayer and wish for the healing of the nations, but that does mean we'll lose people along the way. But as these memories resurface, they could be Syrian, Lemurian, Atlantean, ancient Greece, ancient Rome. I have a very deep connection to Italy, you know, the Colosseum. I can't begin to tell people the smells and the experiences that I had when I went to visit that place. It wasn't from the here and now. So it's when we are aware of our sensitivities, when we are aware of our blueprint, our purpose, our mission, whether it's to just talk about our story, which some people don't care about, which is fine. Other people will connect with it and resonate with it because they're moving through their own resurfacing of memories, of dormant memories, because also it's healing our body. It's not just a soul healing where the parts of ourselves that have been dispersed across the ages come back together. It's about our physical body as well. Some people don't realise that we hold it in our muscle memory, and until, like the scene that I said I was stabbed at the back, I've not felt it. I mean, there's an imprint, there's a knowledge there, but I've not felt it in a painful way since I've resolved that. Resolve the past life, connected to that memory, brought it to the wholeness of me, my soul. And it's not about this astrocartography. People don't need to spend money doing all of this stuff or regression. It's just the deeper in meditation we go now, because the energies are very, very strong. If we go to the earth and we touch the soil, or we sit by a tree and we ask for the support from the elementals, from high guidance, higher self, because also higher guidance can come from external beings, is we might start to be able to understand better, like the decisions that we've made and how we, as I said before, like the sum of everything, how we find ourselves right here, right now. Some people may not be bothered about asking themselves these, some might say, existential questions or whatever, but for me it doesn't even become about existentialism anymore. It's just like the day-to-day realities of finding ourselves in one place and thinking, oh fuck, how did I get here? All of that, oh, that makes sense, oh gosh, okay, that, and everything starts to slot in, and the puzzle becomes much clearer and the picture becomes cleaner, which starts to put the soul at rest, because we are meant to figure ourselves out. We are meant, 100%, who knows, but we are both the lock and the key. The mysteries of the universe are vast, and we're never, I'll say never is a big word, it's questionable as to who finds out that stuff and who doesn't, but we are our own answer. And it's a very important time, very powerful time in terms of the speed of things, because we can't keep giving our power away to ask somebody else to find things inside of us. Nature's ready to interact. I think when we start to respect and show love every day, through speaking out loud to nature, through offerings, through not littering, through our general day-to-day self-respect and respect of the environment we're in, we get gifted moments of clarity and moments of deeper connection at our ancestral, past life, soul level. And for those who are interested in this, I would just be really intentional about meditation and the practices of self-observation at this time, because one might say there's another portal day coming up in January, 11th of the 1st, but we're also powerful. We can create our own vortex to anchor into our own consciousness from the beginning of time to the end of time, as many of us believe is that we come back from the future, and we come back perhaps with a distorted memory of that, and that's all part of the remembrance, but future selves are talking right now, and it could help us to heal. And I guess that's all I'm really about, is the healing of the nations. I would love for everybody to be conscious in a way to not use life's funny distractions to escape the deeper questions and the pain inside from unresolved past life or present life traumas, which is a word we don't want to overuse at the minute, because everything can be seen as trauma, and life is dramatic, but it's also the reason why we come here, for these soul lessons and an expansion, and for various missions, and I trust we will all find those if we so desire. And sometimes looking back at where we've travelled or where we've been called, even if we've not left our own country, there'll be regions, there'll be trees, there'll be places we have been drawn to. Like, I've been to some caves recently. I mean, yeah, old school sacrificial caves and some stuff, and the energy is, and past a blue lotus pond. So a pond full of absolutely stunning blue lotus. We don't need to leave our country. there might be a time in the future where, you know, might not be able to. So we get creative with the land we're on, because there are infinite ways to travel, time travel to the different parts of where our soul, does that make sense? Travel to where our soul has travelled across the ages, and come to some sort of peace and knowledge that we never die. Everything resolves itself, even if it's fucking tough. And miracles do happen.